Well, hey, I hadn't done any video today, so I'm going to try to do a little bit from up here. This is called Lover's Leap above Hot Springs, North Carolina. Read a book called Hot Springs one time, pretty much described it as a sleepy one-horse town. I think the book was exaggerating. I didn't see any horses. Nonetheless, the town managed to suck me in for most of the day. Got on the trail this morning about 9 or so, 3 miles in, so I came into town just probably before 11. And you know, the town's laid out pretty much just exactly as terrible as it could be. So I ended up running from one end to the other. Ended up at the post office at 11:35, and they closed from 11:30 to 1. So went and got some lunch. Back to the post office, had to track down a box, and you know, just the regular gamut of ridiculousness. But major accomplishment. I did manage to get a tent. I've been experimenting with a tarp, and not that I didn't like the tarp. 90% of the time, under ideal conditions, the tarp was just fine. A couple nights there was a little bit of a midnight sprinkle, and it kept it off my head just fine. But that one night above Woody's Gap, when I got totally soaked, and you know, it was pretty cold that night, that kind of showed me the weakness of the tarp, is that you're always going to have an opening, and if you can't accurately predict the wind direction, you're going to be in trouble. And then last night, the other thing is some mosquitoes, some insects started buzzing about, and just kind of showed me, hey, you know, the tarp's an interesting idea, but you're really going to want a tent. So I got to the outfitter here and spent a long time talking with him, walking through everything he's got. He showed me, we set stuff up, we took stuff down, we walked through all kinds of stuff, and the name, you know, Big Agnes was the one I was probably looking for based off of, you know, what I'd already seen, and sure enough, that's the direction he pointed me. And so I ended up with a very snug two-person Big Agnes tent, which will be more than roomy enough for just one. The price differential was minimal, and the weight differential was like 3 ounces between the 1-person and 2-person. For the extra room, it seemed like kind of a no-brainer. So the bivy sack, the tarp, and pretty much my cold weather gear all went in the box from Dollar General store, and that all went to the post office and is headed home. So I am transitioning from potential for cold weather to more of a warm weather stance here, and more interested in things like rainstorms and insects, and less interested and concerned about things like snow now that I'm out of the Smoky Mountains. I do still have my 15-degree sleeping bag. They didn't really have a good alternative for that made sense weight-wise and what I was looking for. So I think maybe around Damascus we'll reinvestigate that idea of a different sleeping bag, because that 15-degree bag is just sweltering hot, especially tonight. It was 85 degrees, probably going to get to a low of about 55 tonight, so I'm going to have to try to sleep on top of that thing. And again, that's where that tent comes in handy, because you really can't, you know, you can't hide from the bugs when you're outside your sleeping bag. So got the tent, probably have to sleep on top of the bag. And I'm going to try to put a couple miles in, but I just wanted to show you a pretty cool view here from what's called Lover's Leap, on top of, you know, looking down at Hot Springs, North Carolina, sleepy little town. Whether or not it has a horse, that's in doubt. Talk to you later. Buck out.